Hello, my friends. My name is Ha, and I live in Vietnam. And if you ever decided to travel to this part of the world, please shout out. I would love to introduce you to our city and our people, and that would be wonderful if we can connect instead of just meeting on YouTube like this. And in this video, I'm sharing with you a beautiful journey that my wife and I have been having over the past 3.5 years, a journey that beyond our imagination and belief. And that journey took off in the summer of 2021. So that is right in the middle of the peak global pandemic that happened in my country. And during that time, our country got locked down completely. So my wife and I, nor anybody can get out of the house except the people with permits to go out. And we wanted to be able to do something that meaningful for us, that we can still continue to learn and grow during the challenging time. But at the same time, what we do that could help people in the community, what we do can bring values to the people around us. So we sat down together and start to write a list of things that we want to do when we never did it in the past. And out of that long list, we saw podcasting. And podcasting, first, is new to us, but it's not new in the market, but it's new to us, right? Second, it's challenging because of newness and because of a lot of things we don't know in doing podcasting, so it's challenging. And it also gives us the opportunity to connect with amazing people out there. So for sure, it's challenging in many dimensions. And the third one is it also helps us to occupy our time in the best way, in the way that we can create values to ourselves and to other people, like I mentioned earlier, right? So, we decided to podcasting. So the first lesson about doing podcasting is very important, and I want to share with you up front, is that share your ideas with the people who truly support. Because we share the idea, we got committed by a person who we trusted, but turned out she did not show up as she promised. So when we told her that we are going to interview amazing leaders inside of Vietnam, outside of Vietnam, and bring their life stories, their wisdom, the insights to share with the audience through our podcast communities, and she was excited, and she said that she would want to be the first person joining the show to support and to share her stories and to help us to start our program smoothly. We were so appreciated, and excited, of course. So we started Googling how to do podcasting, started to prepare for operations, and set a day to do the kickoff. A week before that, we asked her if everything's okay, and everything was okay. A day before the kickoff, everything was okay also. But on that D-Day, at 6 o'clock, we received a message from her, and the message said that she is busy, she couldn't join for the event today. And the event was set to start at 10 o'clock. So we have 4 hours time frame, either to cancel everything, reschedule, ask her to have second opinion about the schedule, or maybe change her schedule so she can accommodate for this event as promised, right? Or we'll do something else. So we texted her, no response. And she never responded until weeks later. But the funny thing is, on that very same week, just a few days later, she joined another podcast and shared her story, her journey, very much the same as what we planned to do with her. So the first lesson is beware of the people you share your stories with. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you don't trust the pupil. Just to make sure that you give your trust into the right hands, so you're not gonna be feeling bad about your decisions, or feeling sorry for things not going the way it is, or wasting time, feeling bad about how things turns out. Okay, but that leads to the learning lesson number 2. Always have plan B, because we did not have plan B, and then so we were frustrating with what are we going to do when plan A did not happen as we anticipated. So she did not show up, and is basically the whole plan was, like out of order, and my wife and I, we got frustrated, so we asked each other, what are we going to do now? So at 8 o'clock, we knew for sure that she's not going to respond already, so she's not showing up, so we have 2 hours to decide our plan B. I made a phone call to my former leaders. She was my boss, she was my mentor, and then she was also the person that I treat as family. So she's the one who took me onto her leadership teams, and then she's the one who taught me the love of the HR industry. And I'm forever grateful for her guidance and support. Okay, and so I called her at 8 o'clock, and she answered the phone. She asked me why I called, and I shared with her the stories. And I said, okay, I really want you to be the one to kick off the whole podcast for us. And sorry to call you in the last minute. And she said, okay, let her arrange her time and figured out what she could do in the next 2 hours. So at 10 o'clock she showed up. We had our podcast run as planned, and that starts everything for us. So we cannot imagine how this journey going to become without that support from my former boss. It could have gone totally differently in different directions, or it's not happening at all. Okay, so a lot of ideas die because we don't have plan B. A lot of ideas die because we're not preparing for the worst case scenarios. So always having your plan B, or even C, or even D, or even Z. There's many letters in the alphabet, right? So prepare for different options. Lesson number 3, be curious. So at the end of 2019, I sat down with my wife watching a beautiful TED Talk by a gentleman. His name is Ken Hughes, and he's from Ireland. And the reason that I watched that TED Talk with her was because we're trying to listen to something that we could make as a theme for our 2020. So we watched different TED Talks to find something exciting that we could try and do for the whole year. And his TED Talk was about a 300 days challenge. And it means that every single day he challenged us to do one thing different, one thing that we never did in the past, one thing completely new. So it forces us to try to think what is new, right? And a commitment of doing it day in, day out for a year. So challenging enough, exciting enough, forcing us to think. And the idea for him to run that podcast is at the end of 365 years, you will be able to be more creative in your way of thinking, right? And you can bend the time, because when you do many things new, then the time will go faster, and when you look back at the year, it looks like it's not 365 days, because things go so fast and so amazing. So it may be, you'll be able to see things flow in front of your eyes, so you bend time. We got excited, we enjoyed, and we committed to doing that for 365 days. And a day later, I called my team. I say, hey guys, folks, this is a very beautiful idea, and I think it's It will help us to become more creative. And I love the idea that Ken shared. So we show it to the team, they got excited, and they agree to join the competition, and they agree to share the activity that they do every day that is differently, right? And then that excitement going down with time. So in 1 week, only 60% of the participants still joining the program. In a month, only 20%. In 2 months, only me and my wife. And today, we've been doing it over 2,200 days. So it's not 365 days challenge. We took it to the next level. We wanted to do it every day. So the challenge is something that can set up, right? It doesn't mean that we have to accept a condition that way. We can always create, be curious to see how far we can take that challenge in our lives. Okay, so the lesson number 3 is be curious to try something new, because in that newness you learn so many new things, and that's how we've been able to invite so many amazing people from different region, from different continent, from different backgrounds onto our program to share their stories, their insights, and their life lessons, so that we can learn from them and our audiences can learn from them. That seed of curiosity of doing newness help us to see opportunities to connect with leaders, with amazing people in everything that we do. When you read a newspaper, saw names in there, and then we went on Google and started looking for the names and say, okay, so these people mentioned on these amazing articles or amazing books or amazing videos or amazing whatever, that we be able to see their names, right? Let's figure out how we can connect to these people. Let's figure out how we be able to invite them, and what message we can tell them so that they will buy into the idea and they were willing to join and share their stories with us. And that is how we met an astronaut, the youngest one out of the 12 people ever traveled to the moon, walk on the moon. His name is General Charlie. And not only that we interview him, we also interview his wife for their transformative journey from a man of science to the man of God. Right? We've been able to interview Dr. Edith Eger because we read her book, and her book name is The Choice. Very beautiful book. So she's a Holocaust survivor, and 75 years after she got out of Auschwitz, she wrote that book, and it's become international bestseller. And she's been interviewed by many TV station, radio station, famous TV host or podcaster. And we're the first person in Vietnam being able to interview her. How amazing it is, right? A couple hours ago, I interviewed the longest serving head of science of NASA. His name is Thomas, and he's the man behind the success and responsible for the successful launch of the James Webb Space Telescope. So it's amazing gentleman, and many other people out there that we've been able to interview and planning to interview in the upcoming months, upcoming years. So be curious. Opportunities are everywhere. So be curious. Number 3, the 4th lesson is be interested. Okay? People like you because they see something inside of you that they want to do business with you. They want to participate with your initiative. They want to be adding values to your operations. They want to support you and help you. But first you need to show that you are interested in them. Be interested. You want to know them as individuals. You want to know where they're coming from, what they're known for, what is it that they they what is that they inside of them they want to do. All right, and how can we help them to accomplish their goals that they set out? So we have to be interested to the journey that they've been having, and then we can, because of that, then the way that we talk, the energy that we brought forward, everything will be different, and people can see that energy, people can see that enthusiasm, people can see the dream and vision, and because of that energy, and they will want to help you. Okay, so be interested, do everything in your ability to add values to their operation, to add values to their day-to-day task, right? Everything that you could possibly think of to help them to grow, and in return, people will help you to grow, right? So I mentioned earlier about Ken, about his TED Talk. So when we do our interview journey, we of course want to have Ken onto our program. The problem was he's always busy. So he traveled 1 week extensively to different places for keynote speaking, and then the next week he rests in Ireland with his family. So preparing for the next speeches or spend time with his kids, right? So when we approach Ken, he said he's busy. We approach Ken again, he said he doesn't have time to do it for us, and he wishes us all the best. And we approach again, it didn't give us the answer that we want to do. So what we did was, every single month I share on my LinkedIn about our encounter with his TED Talk and how that event has led us to meet so many amazing people the last month. And the month after, we do the same. Every time that Ken share his stories on LinkedIn about the speech that he been given, the people that he been meeting, and the things that he about to do, I share with him again on that post. Share with him how appreciative we are with his TED Talk that we had a chance to listen to and start to follow in that, right? And I told him publicly how many days we've been in that challenge, and so he responded, and then he responded again, and he started to see our commitment to doing that, and that got the interest in him. So one day he came back and he said, okay, hi, and Vivian, I want to help you with this interview. Let's schedule it. And we schedule it. Normally our interview will last only about 1 hour maximum, but our conversation with Ken was a 2 hours interview with so many beautiful insights, advice, and wisdom that is very beneficial for our listeners. So if you're interested in to learn about what he shared, go into our YouTube or account and search for our conversation with Ken Hughes. Okay, that's a beautiful thing for you to do. Lesson number 5: never give up. Okay, it sounds cliche, but if you give it up, then the only thing that you have is nothing. So if we gave up at the beginning when our friend back then sent us the message and say she was busy, then there's no way that we are going to have this beautiful journey. So never give up, always try looking out for opportunity and solutions. It's very critical, like we did with Ken. So we look for opportunities to show our interest in having conversation with him, or be interested. And second, we try a different approach. To get to the point we wanted to have. So be creative about solutions. I'll make an example in the case of the astronaut Charlie Duke. So we saw him in a Netflix documentary about Apollo missions, and it was mentioned there and we saw the gentleman's name there, right? And we said, okay, wow, he's amazing. He's the youngest man ever walking on the moon. He also selected by Neil Armstrong on his first mission onto the moon. Neil Armstrong select Charlie to do the to in charge of the mission control on the ground. So all communication will go to Charlie from Neil, and then Charlie will talk to the engineer teams at the mission control. And if the engineer team come with the solutions to help, then Charlie will be the one who communicate with Neil Armstrong. So and then all communication like that. If you listen to the audio tape, the recording tape, then you will hear Charlie's voice communicating with Neil, especially when Neil landed the ship onto the moon, and you will hear his voice very clearly there also. Okay, so we started to look out for information of Charlie, and we found out his email. The thing is, he was busy and he's not interested. So he was busy and not interested. So the best answer for a nice way to answer was that he sent it to us was, "Huh?" And Vivian, I'm overwhelming with commitments at the moment, and we could do this conversation in a year time. And which means that we have to wait for another 12 months, and it's only could do, so it is not a guarantee, right? And we went around and looked for a different approach. I went and searched for Charlie's spouse and found out about Dorothy. So I read her book. So and I approached Dorothy and I said, okay, you're the one who make a transformative change for Charlie, and it must be a beautiful story. I want to interview Charlie at the same time I want to interview you to see how a man grow up to become an astronaut and walked on the moon. Only 12 people ever on Earth. Only 12 people on Earth ever traveled to the moon and walked there. And he's the first one who drove the rover on the moon, and he was also the first one that been involved in so many Apollo mission, more than anyone else. So we want to know about his story. At the same time, we want to know your story as a wife of the man who walked on the moon, right? And how you've been able to transform him from a man of science to become a man of God and serve God. And so she was the one who advocated for us, and eventually we got Charlie on the show, eventually we got Dorothy on the show, and that's how we have them and their story shared with our global audience. So there are always solutions to your problems. It's just that you have to look for the way to solve your problem. You look for a way that creatively, if one way is not solving, try a different way, try a different way, try a different way, try a different way. Okay? And the next lesson, and I want to end this conversation with this lesson, is pay it forward. Okay? So when we were able to talk to somebody is amazing, and we admire with their journey. Not only that, we share their stories and the interviews through social media. We also thought of what could we do to make their job better, to make their works more meaningful and impactful, and who we interviewed before, who in our network will be benefiting to know them, and vice versa. So we tried to see what else that we could do for the speakers that join our show and share their stories. So it's not a one-way direction, but it's also a different direction, the way coming from our ends back to theirs. And we've been able to connect amazing people that we interviewed together, and so that they can collaboratively working on something together as project and ideas or anything. That's a beautiful journey that my wife and I have been able to do. We've been able to bring their stories for every conversations, conventions, events that we've been able to do, talk to leaders around different countries that we've been traveled, and tell them about the amazing people. And you know what? Some of our guests got speaking engagements, got consulting engagement, got business contract awards, and many things. See, that's more idea of pay it forward, giving us the opportunity to think creatively and to be curious what else that we could do to add more values. And the whole chain continue to bring more and more guests on our program, and at the same time we've been able to see more beautiful things come in and be able to connect and pay it forward to the people that been joining and sharing their amazing stories with us. So with these lessons, I hope that you can pick something to think about tonight and have some reflection on it into the journey that you've been having, and try to list the things that you never done in your life, the things that you want to do but never do it, and try to find somebody doing it with you. Like me, I tried to do it with my wife Vivian as much as we possibly could, because of schedules differences, because of the works that we have been doing requires different traveling time. So but we try to stick with our interview as much as possible. We stick with our ideas as much as possible. And we wrote the book together, and we're about to write our book, a second book together on the journey that leading to what we've been doing today. So try to find somebody on your journey that you can share that idea with and do it with them, because that is something that you will see the journey become more meaningful and happier for you. Okay, so again, very nice to know you. I wish you all the best, and if you decide to come to this beautiful country, you let me know. And if you like these videos, please share with your friends, the people in your network, and I hope that we can share something that worthwhile for you to listen to in this conversation. And the most important is for you to do something with that. I'll see you in the next video, and there's many other videos in this channel regarding to our interviews with experts, so feel free to navigate through the platform and look for something exciting and connect with those amazing people. Tell them that you know them from the video that he been doing or she been doing with me and Vivian on our show, and try to connect, try to see if you can learn directly from these amazing people, and you'll be at all.